style. You ain't know this game. Been in this thing for a while. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Been in this thing for a while. Been in this thing for a while. Been in this thing for a while. You don't even know my pain. You can't even match my style. You don't even know this game. Been in this thing for a while. Yeah, 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 yeah. Been in this thing for a while. Been in this thing for a while. Yeah. Yeah.
You already know why you are here. Bookworms, co-authors, everybody, man, we appreciate you guys tapping back into the bookstore. This is another week in the books. I'm here with my illustrious co-host, Mo3. Mo, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good.
Mo3 ain't the one. That ain't
rest
it.
In, well, rest in peace.
Oh, that is,
Mo3.
yeah. I forgot about Mo3.
But I get the sentiment and I appreciate that, man. Blast me, but never ask me to live a lie. Am I wrong? Because I want to get it on till I die. I'm back, man. We back. Yes, sir.
Well, we glad to be back, man. And we got some nice things on the docket for you this week. Mo took the liberty again of doing the current events, man. So I can't wait to see how the thought processes came with that. We were supposed to have Nick on there. He just texted me. I think he's going to be able to make it, man. So we'll catch Nick Deuce at another time.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are here with me and Mo again, man. They say these are some of the best episodes, though.
That's what they say.
No outside people, man. So we're going to try to keep living up to what we do best at another week in the books. This is chapter 75, and it's Bruce Banner. What is it? Bruce Banner what?
Bruce Banner only.
Only. Bruce Banner only. That last one was cut off there for me.
You know,
how you been doing out there this week? That's Incredible Hulk, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. My Marvel knowledge ain't that deep, but you know,
that's one of those surface. I'm like that too. I'm like, I know enough.
I used to watch the old one. Yeah, the old Incredible Hulk used to come on TV. I used to watch it.
Oh, the green painted dude.
Yeah, with Lou Ferrigno, I think that nigga name was. I used to watch I love old shows. I used to watch the old Batman.
I'm in the old show bag.
What's your favorite old show?
My favorite? Oh, okay. Well, hold on. How old we got to talk? Okay, because y'all look at me crazy if I say something in the 90s, 1900s.
Yeah, you can't. The mid 1900s. Just give me what you were thinking. Because what you gonna go like?
I'm trying to go old
or something.
I mean, of course, those shows, but those are classics. Let me go older. Let me try to see if I can. I tell you what I did like that was older than that in the 80s. I liked 21 Jump Street, the series with
Okay. My mama used to love that show.
Yeah, that joint's pretty good, man. That joint was pretty good. I was like, this 80s vibe, I'm digging this. Like I kind of got into a couple of 80s shows. I was digging it. I'm like, this is before I got here. I mean, of course, some of the older sitcoms is pretty decent as well. But yeah, that's like as far as that. I'll go 21 Jump Street, you know.
I love the older shows, man. Like for me, it was I used to watch I Love Lucy on like Nick at Night. I don't know if you remember Nick at Night.
Yeah.
Like Nickelodeon used to cut off cartoons and like I Love Lucy used to be one of my favorite shows. The Jeffersons.
Yeah.
Sanford and Son, of course.
Yeah.
And All in the Family. Like those
All in the Family, low key. That's a low key one right there.
For old shows.
I don't know what is wrong with us for liking that.
All in the Family.
What is wrong with us?
That's
why we like the Sopranos, huh?
Because as black men, that should not be a show that we hold in that much high of a regard. But I think Archie Bunker is one of the best TV characters ever.
Yeah,
and they did such a good thing of mixing him being a racist bigot with he just don't know nothing. Like you got to have some sort of sympathy for him on the ways that he's talking because he's only had the experience of an old white man. Like he don't know black people. He don't know like
he's really ignorant.
Yeah,
it make you wonder how much David Chase may have been inspired by that, or maybe not.
Oh, 100%.
You think about Tony Soprano?
I think so. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That definitely I feel like is an influence.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I feel like that's an influence.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I've been good, man. Just a little on edge, just with work, but more so like just baby being close. We at the 8-month and a week marker, so we have one vehicle, and I work further out than the house, so that my prayer is that it will be a thing where it won't be an I gotta hurry up, get home, do this, but more so like,
Get to work.
yeah,
But
like
people from work aware though, right? Like you already
yeah,
got that
they
set
know.
up,
So
you've
yeah,
told
they
them.
ain't tripping at all. Like they know if you get that call, do what you got to do. But traffic is so bad, and where we live in Florida, it might be all of Florida.
Really?
Just people moving here, it's just so the traffic is just ridiculous. But I was just gonna say, I'm hoping that like our first pregnancy, like it was more so like, okay, she dilated, but it wasn't water breaking, and so she had to be in the hospital, and we kind of slow walked towards the delivery. So it was like, all right, cool. This time I'm hoping to be like that too. The only difference is my job, the way it's set up with time off, it's not the same situation. So that's a little bit of a concern of mine, but the Lord will make a way. So that's where I'm at. What was you gonna ask though? You was about to ask something?
I was just gonna say today no, because a lot of times what we like to do as black men just think motherfuckers gotta, man, they gotta feel where I'm coming from, man. My baby being born. Like, nah, bro, you should have told them like a month ago, and they should know that this is coming up, versus you hitting it on the last minute and being like, I gotta go do this now.
Right. Yeah. Right.
We have that arrogance sometimes as black men. We're thinking a motherfucker you just gotta feel where I'm coming from. Like, nah, bro, I could have used a little explanation.
A little info on her.
That would have aided this a lot better than what we're doing. So yeah.
We do that a lot too, boy. Oh,
Where do you think that come from?
How we was brought up. Don't tell nobody nothing. Don't talk to nobody. Don't let people in your business. That whole trope.
Yeah. I'm bad at that too. Like I know a lot of times motherfuckers like, man, why you ain't let me know? I'm like, bro, I thought I was gonna figure that shit out myself. I didn't even know I was gonna need you.
Well, what if you don't even need them? You just won't like. Well, let me say this.
And that's the thing about it. You think that I can handle this? Me, only child.
Yeah.
Like
of course,
me,
right.
I can do this by myself. I ain't gonna need nobody to help me out with it. And then when you actually need help with it, and it's like, damn, why you let me know at the last minute? I would have been happy to help you, but you just now told me, nigga, it's tomorrow,
bro.
Man, I thought I had it.
Nigga, you think that's crazy? Like before this podcast, one of my bros, like we were going through like turmoil with the family thing I was talking about in previous episodes. Like, bro, my wife had been talked to her aunties, which are like age of cousins, like they're like close in age. Been talking to them about the situation and everything, bro. I've been holding it in. Nigga ain't talking to nobody. Like roughing it out with real turmoil with the family, challenging living arrangement, holding it in. And even when I finally did talk to my bro, he's like, bro, what's going on with you? And I really was still debating, like, do I tell him like what's going on for real? Not because I felt weak, just because it's like there's that weird thing as men where it's like I gotta hold this in. I don't know. I don't even know what it
is. Because why would I tell you?
Like, yeah, that's kind of it. I don't feel
I posted some on Instagram the other day, and it was like a couple people responded to this too. I think Rich responded to this. I was like, bro, when motherfuckers ask me, am I good? I tell them, yeah, because what you gonna do anyway? And I think that's how we look at it. It's like, I could lay all of this shit on you that I'm going through, but what you gonna say? Like, damn, it's fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
We give more credit to that, but I know what you mean.
But that's how that
is though.
That's not how niggas react to it. I'm not taking anything away from people that we tell. I'm talking about us individuals, black men. Sometimes we'll just be like, nigga, what you gonna do? That's not true. Knowing the whole time. And somebody sent me a message on this. It responded, it was like, not knowing the whole time, and nigga could have helped you out if he had you just said something. Nigga would have been more than willing and would have went out of their way just because of how much they fuck with you and respect what you got going on, and are glad that you were able to open up to them. Be like, man, I got you. Oh, you didn't even know that I could do this for you. Or I know somebody that does this. They could provide you with this. The whole time you thinking, man, I figure this shit out by myself, man.
Bro, we
got to do this shit.
We underestimate, our brothers' resources, but even more than the resources that we underestimate that they may have, we underestimate the words that they can give. Because I was on the podcast. Y'all can go back. I think it's our 30s episode when we had Dan on. But like when I first shared 20s episode, when I first shared about the father-in-law situation, I wasn't going to even say anything. And I was burning up inside. And I don't know what moved me to say something. But I just I'm going to say it here because it was breaking me inside. And when I said it, both you and Dan, you was like, regardless if you had that experience, you was just like, bro, the way, if I'm understanding this right, and the way I think she holds you in that regard, I think you love her enough and she loves you enough and she respects you enough and how she believes the man you are. I think you should at least do that. And when you said that, I did it the same night. But if I never said nothing, and I had a relief, even though there wasn't an instant response and nothing ever materialized from it. But you saying that, Dan sharing advice, his comfort that he provided as well, it helped. But if I never said nothing, bro, I would have internally still been just dying. You know what I mean? So you're absolutely right when, holding stuff in, bro. You definitely, that's the nucleus of this show. For
yeah, I was
sure,
gonna say
man.
that adds directly into the theme of the show, which is the angry black man trope and black anger. A lot of that shit has to do with, and I learned this in therapy. Shout out to DeAnthony, was early co-author on the show. Like he told me, he was like, bro, like a lot of times you just need to say it. Like it don't even matter if I can give you good advice on it. You just need to get that shit out of you and out into the world. Just at least get it off of your shoulders where you can at least you've said it, you hear yourself saying it, you're like, okay, damn, now what are the next steps? Versus holding it in and continuously only thinking about that. Once you say it, you get it out there. And like you said, hopefully you can get some good responses from some important people in your life that love you. But most importantly, I got that shit off my spirit. Right now I'm putting it out here in the universe and it's going to aid me in dealing with this. So yeah, 100%. Like that was one of the biggest tools that I take away from therapy and doing this. Like this has gone a long way too. A lot of this with me and why I'm able to be so open and one, you being a great co-host, and two, just like people hear this, people listen to this. Like I can't continue to do the same shit and expect results if I'm putting it out here that I want this and I want that.
Yeah.
And a nigga can ask me, okay, well, what have you done to get to that? Because I heard you talking about you wanting to do it, but that's just talk. Like now that it's out here in the world, I got good friends that listen to this show. They're gonna be like, man, what steps have you taken to get to, like Dro has called me several times, like, what steps you taking to get to where you want to be? And that's a wonderful thing to have. Even Rich in the next with us. Like what are we doing? What kind of goals we planning for the year, fellas?
He put our feet to the fire. Like, we had to get that list together.
Absolutely. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it because that's what this show is for. Like an extension of therapy in the sense of people hearing this and being like, I like that. That motivated me. And I want to make sure that I keep him accountable for it because I respect what he said so much. Like that's one of my favorite things about the show and the feedback that we get from it, man. So shout out to y'all, man.
Yeah,
continue to give us that feedback, emails, continue to call the number 470-318-5034. Leave your voicemails, voice notes, emails, whatever it want to be, text messages.
Absolutely.
MLK Day just passed.
Yes.
I'm really eager to understand where you were coming from. So I'll let you bring it in and talk to it first. And I'm going to respond to the question that you have.
Inspiration came from Blackbusters. Shouts out to Big Jai and Tone over there. They're doing great work. They're like right there to me when we talk about great black movie review podcast, right there next to Culture Garden. Shouts out to Rich Ray P. School. But they were talking about Selma in regards to Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. And they had a moment where they were kind of talking about what they alluded to in there as far as the infidelity part. I thought about this, and then I thought about J. Cole. I think, I don't know, was it She Knows? I think from Born Center, or he's had a few lines throughout. I don't know if it was Born Center, Forest Hill Drive, or For Your Eyes Only. But like there's some line about I'm in the club, I'm thinking about Coretta or something like that. There seems like over the years,
like Jonathan Majors.
boy, I know people want us to respond to that, but it just seemed like over the years that has kind of become a growing pattern when we talk about the late great Dr. Martin Luther King. Have you noticed over the years? It seems like people are putting a stronger focus on his infidelity instead of the change and sacrifice he made.
You know, I hadn't until you said it. When I read this a couple of days ago, I was like, damn, you're right. A lot of the documentaries now are less about the changes that Dr. King made, things that he was trying to do, especially being my age, because I remember it differently. Like I remember when we grew up, when we were coming up, like all of this, the extra shit about Martin Luther King, it wasn't out there. Like nigga, you couldn't say nothing bad about Martin Luther King. Like all the like infidelity stuff, I didn't hear about that till I probably was in my late 20s. So you're talking about all the years in school that you learned about him. Yes, I do think that it changed it, but I'm not sure what it is. I have an idea. I have an idea of what it is, but I'm not sure 100% what I could faithfully stand on and say, like, this is it. You put
So
the question down there. I think, go ahead.
no, go ahead. You go ahead.
I was gonna say you put the question down, so I think you may have an idea in your head that I could play off of, and I wonder is that right or not. But I know if I'm putting my conspiracy black man Dr. Umar hat on, I know what they're trying to do. I know what they're trying to do, and that's lessen the importance that he had in history. And they're doing that by putting all of these things out. Not to say that they're not true or that it's not a part. We talked about it in 200 pages. It's not a part of his bag. It was, but it don't take away. It doesn't take away from the amazing things that he's done. Like you'd have a hard time convincing me that the infidelities with his wife equal up to the good that he provided for his people, or that he thought he was providing for his people. What say you?
That was definitely. I think you onto something. I think that the FBI and they were doing things to discredit him even back then. The fact that it wasn't really discussed over the years is amazing. But for me, it's just, I don't know. It just seems like that becomes the like when we talk about, not us, but like younger people, that we talk about Dr. Martin Luther King, like, okay, he changed like racism. Like this is just me thinking as like a 20-year-old. He changed like this country was racist, and he pretty much changed this world for black rights to not basically have equal rights. Conversation one, conversation two. Yeah, but he was out here though. He cheated on his wife. He had, and I'm like,
but part of me wants to ask though, what they got to do with it though? You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing though.
Y'all?
That's what I'm trying to get at. Why it? I don't know about you, but it just feels like in the generation we're in, it's like we're all trying. Not all of us in regards to us, but like the social media world, we're constantly trying to find a reason to disagree. We're constantly trying to find a reason to find a problem. We're constantly trying to find a reason to say, oh man, you know what? You ain't, I found out about you. You caught, you ain't like, it's like, cause to me, like people
cancel people.
Yes. Like for me,
trying to find a reason to do that.
For me, when you find out like infidelity, because even in the article that I put here, they said I'm gonna say allegedly because we wasn't there, but like allegedly, even the night before he was shot, they said that like there was maybe possibly another woman that was in the hotel, maybe not, but that's what they say. And I think if we put ourselves seriously, like I think it makes him more human. People, I think that
like if his wife don't care, what the fuck do I care?
And I think that she did care, like, but I think that she understood the cause.
About it, and she like the story, from what I understand, is though like they presented her with this information, and she was like, "Okay, what they got to do with what he got going on? Like, what y'all want me to do? Y'all want me to join y'all crusade and taking him down because he cheated on me? I think what he's doing is way more important than that." And when Jonathan Major says hold him down like Coretta Scott King, that's what he means.
That's what he means. Let me
that's what he means. Like, bro, she understand the bigger picture. Like this, all these tapes y'all playing for me and all this is bullshit. It's the shit that me and him gonna handle inside the house. Whether that mean that she gonna leave him, still be there and raise the kids, whatever that means for her, it didn't mean, oh, I'm gonna tear this man. I'm gonna help y'all as a white society tear this man down. So why would I do it? But you're right. We in this time now where discourse is so, just like having conversations with people that you disagree with is such a far-fetched thing now. And it's deteriorating our society. Like people want to talk to a lot only with people that they agree with. Only the people, their Twitter followers, the people on Facebook, they want to have conversations with people and be like, man, yeah, you're right. Oh, I never thought about that this way. You're right. Versus the motherfucker that'll tell them, excuse me, oh, you're wrong. they cast a lot of other dispersions on it, like, oh, if you're disagreeing with me, then you're homophobic or you're transphobic or you're not progressive because you're disagreeing with me. And I'm going to put you in this box. And now if I put you in this box, nothing that you say is going to matter now because you're this bigot. You're this type of person versus some people like us who do this and have conversations and we disagree with each other. Well, we can be like, okay, I want to hear what you got to say. I don't think that there's enough in society today of, you know what? I want to hear what you got to say. Why do you think that that's right? And I'm going to tell you why I think that it's wrong, but that doesn't mean we're enemies. That don't mean that we ain't fighting the same fight. We just have different perspectives on this. So tying it back into Dr. King, I think that now, since the powers that be, I don't want to say they, because people always say, well, who is they? The powers that be, the reason that you're getting all of this extra information about Dr. King and his infidelities ties directly in with cancel culture. The things that they're pinning on him, things that people today get canceled for. So they say, okay, well, this is one of you guys' great leaders who you guys hold in high regard. You know what we're going to do? We're going to show you he was doing some of the same shit that these people that you feel like are monsters are doing. Now, how do you look at him? But I still fall back on the fact that they don't take away from
nothing
his overall, like, for me. But that just be that may just be me as a black man. Like, and I'm okay with that. I'm cool with y'all not getting it because it's just some shit that, as we talked about on the show, like, y'all not gonna get it. It's for us. And we need to take more pride in that. We need to take more pride in that as black men. Be like, okay, I don't really care if you understand it or not, and I'll have this with you. But at the end of the day, if you don't get it, it's for me. It wasn't for you. It ain't for you to understand. It ain't for you to make a point out of a TikTok post or an Instagram. It's for me to digest and be like, okay, I can decipher this from that and still hold him in high regard because I know the intention behind the good things. Like, we all human, like you said. Like, we don't slip up.
And
like,
that's
hopefully good niggas out there don't, but hopefully you don't. But everybody, if you do, they can't tell you all the way down for it.
Yeah, but everybody's just like, that's what gets me about it. It's like society and, like, you know, the powers that be, you keep trying to sell us on. That's why we're in that era now where that's why celebrities and stars and rising stars, you'll never be as big as they were back then because the shuck is up. You guys are selling us on this perfection, this Miss America image of what you thought beauty was and what you thought this person, we thought they were perfect, but we're getting docs all the time, finding out, oh, they wasn't this. We're getting information all the time because you guys spent all this time trying to sell us on perfection. But now we're in the era. So when you guys had the misconception of thinking we thought Martin Luther King was perfect because he's the leader of the change that we need in this country. He's a preacher, pastor, but he's a Bible studier too, and he faced temptation like all of us. All have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Every person, not one person is without sin. Nobody is without done wrong. Like, we all been there, and people don't even understand. Like, bro, this man was in his 30s, dude. Like, he was in his 30s traveling, the most dangerous black man in the world at one point, and you have beautiful women coming your way constantly. I'm not saying that that's the way to move. I'm not saying that's okay. I'm not saying that's the way to go, but understand the challenge of it. And understand it's like, bro, I'm going to jail all the time. I'm getting beat up. And if I'm not getting beat up, I'm watching my close friends, women and men, get beat up. And then they got to come back to me, Dr. King, what do you want us to do next? And they're bruised up. We seen the Selma movie, and as people bruised up, we got to go back out there again. And now they got to. So understand, in that article, there's not, like, in some instances, it could have served as like an anxiety release, because it's like, bro, you're being threatened. Like, we seen Malcolm X looking through the window with the shotty. Like, bro, my life is on the line. So, you know, it's just, I'm not excusing infidelity, but I think that when we do it, put that context. If we're going to look at his legacy, put that context into the man and who he was, Martin Luther King Jr. Like, okay, he had that was his struggle, but him and his wife worked through it, and he was able to make change that was so necessary in this country. But that cannot be the starting mark when we talk about Dr. King. Like, I just think that we're getting more and more in that realm of that's where people go. Like, oh yeah, Dr. King was out here with, are we kidding, bro? Like, who of his generation, who's bold enough to do anything? I love Umar Johnson, but Would any of us do anything remotely close to that now?
Meaning, like what?
Like what? Like rally
What
up?
Umar doing? Like,
No,
like what
like
he's
what
saying and
King
doing, or
did.
what Dr. King is doing?
What King did, like, or any whatever that looks like in this era, where it's like our life could be on the line because we're so radical and we standing on business when it comes to our people. I'm not talking about just like you said, protesting where it don't make change, but like, no, we're doing something on a major scale, and it could cost us our lives on the low because we not going for it. A lot of us
I
would
don't
not
think
leave that comfort seat. Who would do that now?
the majority of us would not. Like, even you hear it say it now in the sense of, and they don't even reference Dr. King, they reference Tupac.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people would be like there was a thing for a minute. You seen how they did Pac, man? You better stop talking like this. That's one of the first things that niggas say when a motherfucker start talking a little too for real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, niggas would be like, man, you see how they did Pac, man? And I ain't saying that they did Pac in no certain type of way or another. I'm not buying into a conspiracy theory. I'm speaking to a narrative that's in our culture. It's like, if you say or you do too much, that they're going to kill you. They're going to take you out. They're going to minimalize you. You can even go to it with, and I'm not copping pleas for either one of these dudes at all. I'm just saying that it's interesting that as they continue to extend in their success, that these things come out. Again, I'm not saying that they didn't do it. I'm not saying discrediting the victims at all. But you can look at Bill Cosby and you can look at Puff Daddy and you can say, man, damn, like, they get to this point, they start saying these things that are not too agreeable with the mainstream society, and it's more for black culture versus themselves or mainstream culture. Like, now all this stuff starts to come out about them. And again, I'm not aiding to any
So what are
conspiracy
you getting
theories
at?
saying that they're true. I think that the discrediting that you're speaking of with Martin Luther King happens with most powerful black men.
Oh,
Most powerful black men that have a
okay.
chance to do, most powerful black men, like you said, like, who's going to take the chance to do what Dr. King was doing back in the day now? And I would say, even before they get to that place, they getting them, they're taken out of the paint early, rightfully
Yeah,
so or not.
yeah.
Again, I'm not condoning anything that they did or convicted or were accused of. I'm just saying, even before they can get to a Dr. King point, it's like, oh no, we getting you. As soon as you start leaning a little bit that way, we getting you out of here. Like, even with Umar, like you say, there hasn't been any scandalous allegations against him. But one of the main things that you would hear from people in our community who say, well, I'm not going to listen to him because, oh man, he's been asking for money for a school for the last 7 years that hasn't been built. And then you could say, well, nigga, how many people have opened schools that you know in America? Black men at that, independently. Like, when they're trying to do it a certain way versus not having to be influenced by the government or influenced by people who don't have the best interest of the people that he's opening the school for in mind, and they're using their own money or they're using crowdfunding, even before someone would fully believe in that, we ourselves are turning against each other and being like, man, that nigga didn't even, he been collecting money for however many years and he ain't even done that yet. Why would I listen to him when he say I need to date a black woman? Why would I listen to him when he say that this is detrimental to our community? He lying to people and stealing their money about a school. We've gotten to the point where we do it to ourselves before it even gets to the point where they got to do it.
Wow. I couldn't even imagine. Wow. Wow. Damn.
Is that a good wow or a bad wow?
It's a bad wow.
In the sense of what?
I couldn't imagine, like, on a cause and a purpose that Dr. King was doing. People's like, man, he just wanted me. Nah, I should be the one doing that. I should be in the front. I want to be the one. Nah, he ain't really like that. I know what he be doing. I'm about to be, I don't know. You're right,
And
bro. Like, we
and for what? And for what? What do we do that for?
Pride.
Just so a motherfucker retweet some of the shit that you say?
Yep. Because everybody wants to feel significant. And we talked about it, but it's unfortunate that this tweet is all I got. This is my claim to fame, right? No, seriously, like, this tweet is all I got. When something this, like I've seen people get mad about somebody stole their meme. Somebody stole mine before. And so it's like, they be like, bro, this person right here, this is not real. They stole my, like, and that's all they got. And that's just a small level of division, bro. So it's crazy. Like, I don't know. I hate for us to think that way. It's okay to be a follower behind a good cause. You know, I think that it's too many chefs in the kitchen and everybody wants to be the star now. Everybody wants to be the star. Everybody is the franchise now. And I'm not gonna just say our community in the world, but like the way social media is set up, everybody's the star now. I'm a star. I should have a show. I should have the retweet. I should have the followers. Everybody's like, nobody wants to say, yo, I'm gonna be the team player. Yo, I'm gonna throw the assist. Nobody wants to throw the assist now. Everybody wants to say, no, I can dunk. I can shoot. No, I'm the scorer. Nobody wants to assist now.
Put up 30 a game.
Yeah, nobody. That's why these podcast people do these podcasts and they start off together, then they end because you both wanted to be started. Nobody knew when to say, hey, yo, this is my role, that's your role. Nobody, all these partnerships, these businesses, these as far as small businesses, it always falls off. We were watching, I've seen it before, but the N1 doc that was on Netflix. Classic, legendary. Things started to go awry when the money started to be the point of contingency in regards to valuing their players. This player, Hot Sauce, is getting this much. This player, AO, is getting this much. Skip to Malou getting this much. And when people start talking about that stuff out loud, it created division and likeness and imagery and licensing and all of that. When those things start to become the thing, it starts to create division. It's like, this nigga don't know what I do. And we always fall for the same thing. I hate it, bro.
What's that? When you say fall for the same thing, what's that?
We always come back to the dollar. I feel like I feel like we come to the dollar amount because we want
to be the richest nigga.
Yeah, we don't know how to come up with the equivalent for our value, and so we have to use the dollar amount. And that when we start to look at that, that's when we have the division amongst one another. We say, oh, this nigga ain't worth more. My net worth more than his net worth. Oh, I know he ain't. And that's where that's what we use as an equivalent for value. When really we should look at all of us as equally.
I'm going to get back to that point in just a second. If you're joining us on YouTube, you see the infamous Nicky do say, excuse me, just Nick down here with us, man. Nick, what's up, brother?
What's going on? Y'all can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, man. We're glad you could join us.
It's Smart Water Nick now. You know what I'm saying? I got
Smart Water Nick.
Man, that's a lead.
Well, actually, it's also Nicky Moonshine every now and then. I'm trying to give up the dark liquor.
Nicky Tequila.
Tequila Nick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now that's really where it's at, though.
Yeah, that's where I mean. Yeah, Tremano, holla at me. But what's going on? Yeah, good to see y'all.
Man, how you doing, brother? We glad to have you on.
Yeah,
I'm good.
You caught us right in the thick of it. Pause.
Yeah, I'm about to say, hold on, Lou.
Yeah, that was crazy.
What we doing, bro? What we doing now?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh, introduce me like that to the folks.
Yeah, hold on.
My bad. I had to show up. You know, I'm black. I showed up a little bit late, but I was, I'm always here when Lou call out the bat signal.
We glad to have you, man. We appreciate you coming on. Mo was wanting this. He was pushing me for this, man. So I want
y'all talking about broke niggas?
In a sense.
Wait, where this come from?
He heard what you was just saying, I think.
Oh,
it was more so talking about Mo had a question here. Later now, Dr. Martin Luther King, since the day just passed, right? Previously, he's been known more so for what he's done from a civil rights and an activist standpoint. However, with all of the content that's coming out lately, it's been more for infidelity and, the side action that he had on Coretta. So we were talking about what that stems from.
Oh, this is actually interesting because, Lou, I know you hit me up and asked me like topics and stuff to bring up.
Yes.
And it's kind of something that I was thinking about because I don't know if you saw the comments we did for our Is the Mic Still On Patreon thing, but like some people had some things to say about what we said. And I bring that up because
good or bad.
It's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. I'll say that.
King told me it was a lot of love in there. Y'all Patreon here, but
yeah. But I bring that up because as Black men, we're in an interesting point in time as far as like how people remember how people are remembering certain Black men even from historically, even to contemporary. But also just like it seems like no matter what, we rather bring up some other shit than the shit that is really going on or what you've been doing. Because to me, I look at it like this, right? The infidelity stuff is a part of Martin Luther King, and I think we make jokes about it behind the doors as as niggas, but overall, we still want to have that good front of like, this was a good black man. He died for a good cause. He died for us. He died for actually more than black people, if you want to be technical about it.
Poor people.
Exactly. But I feel like in a way where the more information we hear about people, the more it's not like dehumanizing, but it's kind of eroding his influence. Because you're throwing different things in the gumbo than what it used to be. Not to say that you can't talk about the man and who he was, but it's kind of like, what's the point of bringing that up at this point? Both parties are deceased at this point. Only the kids are still alive, and the kids don't want to hear that shit, honestly, either. If you even know anything about how his kids are, they are very protective of the imagery and how you discuss. I mean, look, they come at Jonathan Majors because this goofy ass says some shit about their mama. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Hold me
like,
down like Coretta.
yeah, it's interesting to see like how
like Carmella.
Just like but it's just interesting to see how black men are being discussed from historical to contemporary spot. Because you already know how I feel, Lou. I think it's over for us, bro. I think the rebrand is. I don't think there is a good rebrand enough to bring us back into the forefront.
Theory.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Oh yeah. Well, it's mostly comes from a relationship standpoint that I think black women have given up on black men, because of just from the. Because if you look at, of course, you're not supposed to judge everything off of this. This is just me being like, staying up, keeping up with the Joneses as far as like social media and all what's going on. But it's like you're constantly seeing how like there always talks about like black men not being with black women when it comes to like relationship wise, like serious relationship like marriage and or matrimony in whatever sense you look at it. You see how like the influence of black men having their community is mostly spoke about in a negative light, not necessarily a positive life. The only time we do get a positive is Martin Luther King Day, and that's because most niggas get the day off. So that's the that's the positive influence a nigga had. But and then you're also just hearing that like we're even our mindset, how we're discussed. Like it's like it just seems like relationship wise, we're not looked at as protectors or providers. If anything, it looks like we're the opposite. We're looked at as either like ain't shit or greedy, and not doing shit enough to protect the women or the children that we have, or even raising them. So it's just kind of like, I can't think of, what was the last good black man that you really like saw in the forefront, in a while, like, and not even just
people would say Obama,
but even then you would say like people
what
are
about Kevin Samuels?
Nah, a lot of people.
I mean, okay.
I wouldn't.
Shot in the dark.
He had some good ideals, and
his delivery was horrendous.
I mean, he wasn't the ideal, but I mean, just
the packaging
on the trajectory of okay, we're trying to figure something out.
Now you wouldn't want Kevin Samuels to talk to your mama. That's the only thing. You would let Obama talk to your mama all day.
Yeah. Okay.
Kevin Samuels was saying some stuff that was beneficial to us as a society. However, the packaging, like you said, like how he delivered it and people perceiving it as disrespect because they probably have never had a strong male figure to speak to them like that. Like he's not speaking to them out of a place of disrespect. And again, we'll have an episode about intent. His intent wasn't, I'm going to disrespect you, be disrespectful to you. His intent was more so to be entertaining. And in the midst of being entertaining, I'm going to put you up on game. It's up to you how you receive it. And I think a lot of people received it in a way of, oh, he's being disrespectful, when that wasn't the intent at all. I think that has to weigh into it, and people don't weigh that into it. They weigh into it too much, the surface level stuff of, oh, that sounds nasty, or why he talking to her like that, missing the overall message of what he's saying, because I do think that he was trying to push a better black man. That was his initiative.
And I think and for me, it's like in two, how they always say there's two different types of people in the world, whatever. Like for me, there's like people who like locker room talk, and there's people who like press conferences. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Samuels is a locker room talk nigga. Like he was promoting locker room talk. This is how niggas talk to other niggas when we saying some real shit about relationships and how we look at women and all that other stuff. Not to say I agree with everything, but it was an honest conversation he was having with a lot of women, and they were honest in their response too. But then there's people who just want the press conference talk. They want the Jalen Hurts type of cleaned up quarterback, or Patrick, you know what I'm saying? Like a quarterback type of response where it's like, we're not going to throw anybody under the bus. We're going to take all the blame and we're going to keep it pushing, and we're always going to push this positive message. I think those are two different audiences that, like, nowadays, social media, you can't really divide up. Everybody's watching the same thing and they're going to interpret their own way. But for me, like, when it goes back to like the Martin Luther King stuff, it's just kind of like, for as much good as he did, yes, there's negative stuff he has done as well. Same thing with Obama, same thing with any human and a historical figure. It's just that I think what you're hearing now, I think we're in the era of where you're hearing a lot of women give their perspectives on these great men. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying not to say women are bashing these men, purposefully and it's all women's fault. I'm just saying that we're hearing a different perspective than before, because I feel like before then we heard a lot of it, like the men talk about men, and now we're hearing the women talk about men. That's giving us a different light. And I think as the unfairness comes in like the balanced conversation from that, because I don't feel like Black men are in a point in time right now where we're even cared to be heard at this point, because I feel like we're kind of lumped in with a lot of bad shit right now. So like all you're hearing is Black women's perspective, and then that's great. I love it. But I also want I like balance. I need to hear both. I need to hear a good conversation. You know what I mean?
And that's a part of what we wanted to do here. I mean, of course, we always talk about the origin of like building chemistry for the other show, but also it's just like after a while, I got so tired of being the person complaining about what I was seeing. It's like, bro, I had to question myself, like, what are you doing to put into the zeitgeist of positivity? You ain't doing anything. You're not putting nothing out there positive. You're not doing anything. You're just watching. And doing this, having these conversations with you, Nick and Spike, and just being able to even have a Ray P, the beautiful, wonderful Ray P coming on, just saying how she appreciated us as Black men, being able to have those conversations without having to put a Black woman down, or even just being ignorant, just articulating ourselves as Black men well enough to say, we hurt sometimes, we feel things sometimes, we're going through these things sometimes, but we also we can get a little wild sometimes too, but at least giving us an opportunity to express the complexities that we walk around with on a daily. So I completely agree with you on the balance. And yeah, they're trying to do it. I think that we do have to charge one another. Well, I think all of us should take responsibility on our own thinking and understanding, and not jumping to group thought, and be able to say, hey, you know what? Let me process this myself. Let me not just jump on the wave of everybody saying this, everybody's feel. Let me think about this for myself. And I think a lot of people are just too lazy and impatient in this microwave generation to formulate their own opinion.
I think part of the reason, Nick, to what you're saying, why we don't get the platform, we are the group of people that are least willing to be vulnerable. Like there's this cast over Black men, is that you have to have this certain perception. And I know you say you hear a lot from Black women. Black women gonna let you know how they feel, and that's not a slight or anything of that nature. But they're going to let you know, nah, you have me fucked up. I feel this way. As Black men, we really rarely have a comfortable space where you can say or be vulnerable in the sense of, nah, that's not right, and I'm gonna disagree with you on how you perceiving me, and we can have a discourse about it. Like there's not an arena for us to be able to do that, so people can understand that it is deeper than just the narrative that's out there. It's not just how a Black woman perceives us, or how a white man or white people perceives us, or how corporate America perceives us, or how rap perceives us. There is this actual realistic Black man that's walking around in everyday life that you guys never hear from, because there's never a platform for him to be able to be heard from. Just even with the Barack or Martin Luther King example, you're talking about damn near perfect Negroes. Like these niggas had to be perfect to get the perception that they have throughout history. And even now we're talking about how they try to shit on Martin Luther King name as far as his infidelities. Even with Barack, if you pay attention to the conspiracy theory shit, you know what I'm talking about. other than that, though, Barack had to be perfect for people to even listen to him. And I think that us as black men, we feel that way and have gotten behind the 8 ball, as you're explaining, Nick, because we never feel like there's a place where we can speak freely.
Well, I'll say
What would
this
you
because I talked about fair and balanced, so I got to be fair when we're talking about niggas. Some of the platforms that we do have as black men, some of these niggas be saying some wild shit, bro. And it justifies everything these women be saying about us to a certain degree. So I can't even lie. I got to keep it a full bean. But
that's part of it, though, right? A lot of us feel like we got to be that hyperbolic in order for people to even listen to us.
Well, I mean, that's more of an excuse than a reason. But I'll say this.
I don't know about that.
No, I'm saying I'll say this though. Like you could say Martin Luther King, like society benefited from Martin Luther King. Certain individuals were hurt by Martin Luther King. You know, Coretta was hurt by Martin Luther King. Did y'all see Selma?
That's where I pulled the inspiration.
You know what I'm
saying?
Like if that was I don't know if that conversation she had with Martin when she heard the tapes really happened, but like imagine you was with Oprah and you Stedman, and you gotta come, and somebody sending you tapes of Oprah fucking the hell out of Dr. Phil. You know what I'm saying? Or showing you the video of it. And you gotta stand 10 toes with her everywhere she go. And you still gotta speak, you know, you gotta pump that message out about black women and black couple power, whatever that is. Like you objectively you would say to yourself, if you were in that situation, you would simp, right? You would say that you should have been left. You can't let no woman treat you like this, all that. Coretta put the shoe on the other foot. Coretta went through a lot of shit that we don't know about as a black woman alone in that era, but as a black woman standing next to him. So like, yeah, she could say whatever she want for real. I don't give a damn. To me, it's more of like, y'all other motherfuckers ain't got really a lot of, you know, you ain't got a shoe. Yeah, you ain't got a soapbox to stand on because you ain't gone through the shit she went through.
Is it a pride thing with us then?
I think it's
like what you just said. If Stedman would have had to go through that, it wouldn't be because like
what I'm saying,
understand him staying with Oprah, regardless of what she did. You can understand it because you're like, okay, I see the benefit in it.
But that's the only thing.
From a pride standpoint, he would be like, nah, I'm out of here because I don't want nobody to think that I'm the nigga that was able to let that shit go on under my roof.
But for me, it's like, but Stedman can have that decision because he's just talking about his relationship with Coretta. The reason why I say she had the strength because she was thinking about something bigger than herself and her marriage. She's thinking about the movement. You know what I'm saying? Like to think of yourself that's an out of body kind of motivation. You know what I'm saying? That's like it's bigger than her kids. It's bigger than her. It's bigger than her family. Bigger than him. Like it's like these are for my people. So like to have that. To have that as the carrot on the stick to keep you focused outside of the infidelity and everything else that we went through is like, that's a strength that I can't even imagine.
So are black men, do you think black men are capable of that? That type of what we're speaking of with Coretta? Like if
there's only one black man, there's only one black man I know did that. It is Jesus. I don't know anybody. Hey, you tell me, Lou.
I think we are.
I'm asking.
No, I'm
asking he was a scumbag. We would have kept it a being. He was historically he did a lot, but like individually, he low key a scumbag. Because if you hear about a preacher cheating on his wife with white women, you be like, oh, he ain't shit.
I mean, look, I do think that we are capable. I do think that.
I don't know, bro.
No, I think
I don't know the black man as being like, I'm dating what's the chick name? I'm dating Kamala Harris and I'm going to stand beside her regardless of whatever she did because I'm
like
a black man.
First.
Yeah, she got a white. Yeah.
But what I'm saying, but like
in the universe, she was able to like black men.
But I'm saying, like, if she's in a space where this is life or death. Every time she speaks, it's life or death. Every time she walks out of a hotel, it's life or death. And it's in the calls and the stakes are so high. Like, yeah, I think we are capable. I think that's
man. I think we may have too much ego for that, bro.
Nah, I don't think all of us are like that. I think there's a lot of us. I don't think all of us are like that. I think we're still growing in that realm as a whole, but I think that, and this is why I push certain things when people disagree with me on the show. It's like I think that we have to take the time and let things really resonate before we just be like, oh, I can't, bro. You're the man. I just think we do this overly macho, overly prideful, overly this and that, and we think these things represent us because other people see this. But if we know what's going on internally, like Coretta and Dr. King. And like, we got to understand, I don't like this, you don't like it, but this is life or death. And so this is what we're going to do. Like,
but he had to be,
I don't know, man.
But he had to be Dr. King. He had to be Dr. King to get that pass. You know what I'm saying? That's why
that's what I'm saying. So like, put the shoe on the other foot. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Ironically, you like, let's say the nigga who was dating Rosa Parks knew that Rosa Parks was getting it in on the side, but he didn't want to take away her overall standing as a black woman and what she meant to the movement. Like, is he gonna step aside and be like, you know what? She out here getting it in. I really don't approve of that. That's my girl. And I know that this is going on. Is he gonna be able to be like, I'm sticking beside her and whatever she does? I don't think us as black men, like I think that we've been through so much in society that we like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not taking that. Like, niggas won't even date women that make more money than them. So what happens when?
I think that's a small number. I think they emphasizing that that's a small number.
That's very large. It's the same thing like how they say like black men are not, they always going outside the race. I think more statistically, there's black men that marry more black women than anything. But that's why it kind of goes to a point that I feel like when I try to explain it sounds confusing as hell, but I think Lou knows what I'm talking about when I say it's easier to be it's easier to be a great man than a good man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's as far as the great men that you see, they're so focused on the greatness or the impact that they have in a certain area or certain career field that they bypass stuff that you would think would go along with that greatness, like a sense of morality or whatever. And it's like the good men that sacrifice a lot to be good don't achieve those same levels because it erodes some of your principles. Like, think about any major even look at all the like historical figures and how they came together. Like Malcolm X was Detroit Red. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did some shit to change his ways. Martin Luther King was an adulterer. You know what I'm saying? Like, he cheated on his wife many a times. Like, when you look at all these great men, like you be like, damn, y'all did some fuck. Look at Ray Charles. Like, as good as he was for the civil rights movement too, and the music he made, like, he was fucking all these other women too and doing all heroin and all that other shit. It's like, you wouldn't think that would be attached to a great story, but there's I'm sure there's plenty of stories that we won't hear because they're not great men. They're just good men that do a lot in their community, that do a lot for their people, do a lot for their wives and their family. And they really won't get that recognition because they're just doing what they're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's an underrated thing that we, how they say common sense isn't common knowledge. Like, being good is consistently, you know what I'm saying? Being righteous consistently, have a good sense of morality and a good compass. Like, that's a hard thing to keep up with in this life. There's a lot of things that you could do. I could be a scumbag this day. I could do this other shit, but I'm going to be righteous. Like, that's a hard thing to do. And I think when it comes to greatness, you kind of bypass that because your goal is so bigger than you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to make the best album. I want to be the best athlete. Like, it's bigger than me. It's like, I want to make a mark in history. There's a lot of stuff when we look at our historical figures, like, they did some fucked up shit that you would question their sense of morality.
But they strive for greatness and reach greatness. And people now remember them for their greatness versus the other stuff.
Well, they used to. Now, as you can see,
it's different now. It's different.
Not no more. Yeah.
Like, but it makes me wonder, where do we draw the line? We look at something like this and say, okay, well, we don't look at Dr. King any differently. We understand that those things are things that are not to be proud of. But again, like I've spoke before you got on here, Nick, I said all of sin comes short of the glory of God. So we all naturally are going to do something that's out of pocket. Like, that just happens. It just depends on the scale. But nonetheless, we're going to all do something out of pocket. But like, where do we draw the line on impact for the community? Where we say, okay, we weigh the accomplishment and not like the reward, but the accomplishment in regards to the impact. Like, let's just use a Cosby, for example. We say, man, he had so many of us going to college. He had so many of us thinking about careers. He had us thinking about things. And then you look at on the other side, it's like, bro, you're drugging women and having sex with them unconsciously. So where do we draw the line really in that scenario? Or do we need to draw the line?
Martin Luther King is my line. Like, I'm fine with accepting everything he did, even the cheating
Is it the
because of
deed?
yeah, it's the deed. It's the deed.
It's the
Like you
deed.
can't be
Okay.
you can't be drugging black women because Cosby was drugging all women, all
All
types of
women, yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
He
Like you
didn't
can't
discriminate. He didn't
yeah,
discriminate at
you
all.
can't be doing that. And then I'm still giving you a pat on the back. I'm sorry. If you cheat on your wife, I'm sorry, Coretta, but this nigga got me the day off forever. You know what I'm
He
saying?
was definitely
Like,
traveling a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I got an extended weekend for life because of your nigga. You know what I mean? He good with me type shit. But
So how do you separate the monster from the acts though?
And that
Because
was,
like you said,
man.
what Dr. Cosby, what Bill Cosby did was disgusting as far as if it's true or not. However, as Mo said, that's the reason a lot of niggas went to HBCUs. That's a lot of reason that people thought, oh, a successful black family is possible because they seen that shit every Thursday night on NBC. And now, 20 years later, you're telling us, oh man, he was drugging women and sleeping and raping them. Of course, no one is going to agree with that and think that's right. However, how much does that discount from all of the positive shit that he put in the world?
I think time will tell with that. It's still fresh. Like
It is still fresh.
yeah, like we learned
Few
about all
years
that
ago.
shit. Yeah, like you know what I'm saying. I don't know where.
It's been about 4-5 years.
Yeah, like that to me. That's like 20 years down the line.
I guess it's hard because I think that you have to look at it differently because you were acting, and this is who you are.
Yeah, but that see.
Oh, that's a good point.
Talking
That's
about
a good point, bro.
Wait though. But there's another question on the docket right here. How much do you think movies play a part in how we receive history now versus when we in school and went by the history books only? Same thing would go for Dr. King. Like, yes, that was acting. However, that was a significant impact on the black community. A lot of black people, the first time that they seen successful black people was on the Cosby Show.
Yeah, but
and that
like
made them strive to be more successful as black people. Like the first time that they seen black people going to college was on a different world, and that made them want to go to college and specifically be an HBCU. And again, I'm not giving Bill Cosby any slack for what he did or allegedly did to those people. Like if he did it, then he in the right place. However, how much to take away from all, like there are tens of thousands of people out there that will tell you I went to an HBCU because I seen the fictionary college Hillman on Different World, or I knew that my mom and my dad could be successful even though I was living in poverty and I seen this shit every Thursday. There could be a black lawyer and a black doctor in the same household and they raising 3 kids effectively and they got positive parenting methods where they ain't just beating their kids' asses like we would expect black people to do. Like that's out there for him. Like he did that.
Yeah, but like to Maurice's point, like it was acting. Like at least with Martin Luther King, is like there's no the cameras that were there were to capture the shit that he went through. Like with Bill Cosby, you don't really. That's why like these days I can't get attached to.
Yeah,
you can't get attached to nobody these days.
Yeah, pretty much.
You don't know who these
even
niggas
with
are.
Barack, like you don't know what's real and what's not.
I don't know none of you niggas.
You
like
don't know
that's I'm keeping a bean. I don't know none of y'all.
I can't vouch for none of them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like when you start.
But I do think
about,
there's something to be said about the impact it's had from those guys, though. Like even with Barack, I may not be 100% a fan of him, but the impact it's had from somebody like Barack or MLK or even Dr. Umar. When we're talking about, oh, people will give him shit about not having the school open yet, there's still something to be said about him going on all the platforms that he goes to and speaking to black excellence or what he perceives as black excellence because no one else is doing it.
I don't know. I don't really have an answer to that because it's still fresh. It's kind of like I get what you're saying.
The answer. It's just a thought. It's just a thought.
No, I'm just saying, but I don't. Yeah, I just don't know because those are like shit. Those Jesus questions. You know, see, that's the shit that you asked at that pearly gates. Like
I think that's the thing that we deal with as black men though, because it's so complex. Because we see those people that are out in front and the things that happen to them, and it makes us more scared to step up and say what we really want to say. Because then you put the conspiracy theory hat on, like I was saying earlier before you jumped on, Nick, and people always been like, well, you see why they killed Tupac because he started talking about uniting gangs.
Nipsey.
Dr. Bill Cosby, because he was talking about buying NBC and putting this message, or Nipsey, like you said, all of these things we start to see as black men, and that weighs on our conscience as far as I'm going to be outspoken and I'm going to do what I think is right for us versus, you know what? I ain't really sure how it's going to be perceived. So I do this in my circle or I do this with my homies, but I'm not going to stand on the platform on Park Avenue and be like, this is the thing that we need to do, because we've seen what those guys have been subjugated to throughout history. And it scares us, if we being honest. Like black man, white, we're not willing to deal with that. We deal with so much already, bro. Like you deal with so much as far as fitting in, as far as having a level communication with your partner, and doing all of these different things that they say that we don't do anyway, and we out there doing it. If you want to go above and beyond, we seen the reaction that we get from mainstream America, and it's usually bad. It's usually they trying to tear you down, or even worse, they kill you. And we digest that, and we don't, like, what we do from now.
Does it seem like we're more critical than other races when it comes to our greats, or I don't know. And it could be because we're in our own black bubble. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder. I think Rich may have alluded to this on our Soprano podcast, but like, are we just more critical? Because it's like, it be certain things that, some of the white greats that they deem great will do things, but they'll still hold them and still acknowledge, but they did do this, and they don't necessarily throw them away like we do with R. Kelly.
That's because white folks, they stand 10 toes on they shit. You know what I'm saying? Like shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's like the passion white folks have for their history and their greats or their people. I think just damn near unmatched, because they willing to kill for it, they willing to die for it, they willing to do a lot of shit. A lot of us niggas ain't willing to do half that shit. You tell me R. Kelly pissed on a little girl, send his ass to under the jail. You know what I'm saying? We ain't.
So it make you wonder who's really wrong though. Like who's really?
Well, listen, I don't think it's. I mean, that's a subjective question. I mean, it depends on the person. But to me, it's like, if you're gonna ask me, are there some natural wrongs? Then I would probably say, yeah, I think they are. But when we're talking about comparing those wrongs to what you've done tangibly for society as a whole, for certain individuals, it's hard to say take that away, take that whole person and everything they done away, and feel like that was a good thing. You know what I'm saying? If it feels like you're still going to be missing something, or you don't know where history will go if that person isn't there. It could be something worse, could be something better. You don't know, but it's just I'm hesitant to erase, but I do want to. I'm not hesitant to acknowledge the wrongs. Like, if we're going to talk about a human being, let's talk about the human being. But if we're going to talk about the impact and the influence, that's a different conversation. But when you're trying to have the conversation of both, that's when I feel like you start getting all the types of debates and confusion and division.
Well, let me ask you this: when did you get to that place of maturation? Because me and you not that far in age, and I know Spike can relate to this too. But like, I'd imagine when we were
I'm far from Spike's age, so I don't know.
I knew he's gonna get it off.
He wiser than most of us. You know what I'm saying?
You a pride. You wiser than
Nick
but no,
keep
like
me young, man. Nick keep me young, man.
Yeah, but like when we go back to like early 20s, like jumping out there and saying like, oh, this person's, they this. Now, you dogging them, whatever. You find out the act and leave it there. But now you're at a place where it's like, okay, let's look at, if you're asking about the individual as a whole human being, how did you get to that place? Because I imagine you weren't always there. Like I wasn't. I know I wasn't.
I would say that I always look for perspectives outside of my own. And I like to talk to people who've been through some stuff, had some experiences. And I've been through some stuff and I had some experiences. And I've been in a certain spot, like Lou knows what I'm talking about. And it made me think about, like, if you're gonna judge somebody, put yourself in their shoes for us. Just the cliche thing, put yourself in their shoes for a moment, but like legit do that in this era and this time. If you saw, like, think about the worst moment you could think of your life, or an embarrassing moment you could think about your life, and it was publicized hella. You know what I'm saying? Like everywhere, everybody's seen it.
And comment on it.
Would you say that's a great representation of you and you should be judged based off of that? Or would you say that is a piece of who you are and something that you went through, but holistically you would want to be judged by everything, right? So to me, is if I take that mindset and I put that out there for others, it's like, I don't really have, I give grace basically within that, but I also can hold some accountability, because like you also have to go down like, how did that even happen? Why were you even there in the first place? Why did you say that? Why did you even do that? You know, stuff like that. There is accountability that comes with it, but it's also just like you also have to have grace as a human being. Like we all fuck up, we all make mistakes. Some of it is super underground, some of it is publicized all over the world, but it's all a part of this a similar human experience. So I try not to judge because I'm in no place to, but at the same time, there are just like obvious wrongs and there's obvious rights. Like if you cheat on your wife, yeah, you're a cheater. You know what I'm saying? Like if you kill somebody, you're a murderer. But as the human element, we kind of grade things differently based off of what we perceive is right, or like the subjectivity of that in the middle. Like some people look at killing somebody as murder, some people like self-defense. You know what I'm saying? Like it just depends on what you're talking about. But overall, I feel like we don't always give people grace to kind of fuck up and then try to see if they can come back. You know, America's all about the comeback story. You know what I'm saying? We got all the movies about it and everything. But in reality, I don't think we're at that place anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if Malcolm X was Detroit Red, I don't think he would become Malcolm X at this point in time. Like that, as soon as that nigga go into jail, like they like, oh, he only fuck with white women, he only do drugs, he ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? And I don't. He
gonna be rock off of power. He gonna be going right back to the game.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
in this era.
I don't think we will give somebody like, and I'm not saying like he wouldn't be a Muslim and be righteous. I'm just saying like if he got onto the public, people would be like, man, that's Detroit Red. His old goofy ass was 5 years ago was doing, you know, shooting dice. Shooting dice and stealing shit out of my grandpappy crib. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we would kind of like,
I remember when he was doing the bullshit.
Exactly.
Now you're out here trying to fool us, nigga. I think a lot of us are skeptical nowadays of people be like, nah, it's a trick. It's something to it. It's a scam. Like I don't know what it is. And then they find the shit like the Detroit Red stuff. Like, there it is. There it go. That's like Dr. Umar in the school.
Yeah.
Like it's
Dr.
like,
King.
You may be saying all of this good, Dr. King as well, even Barack. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Barack Obama. There are things that he did that I disagree with. However, you have to acknowledge the role that he played in almost a culture shift in Black America when he was in his bag, when he was doing what he was doing. Like niggas had a lot of confidence and swag and ego based off, oh, it's a Black president. Like you can say that wasn't the case or not, but I seen that shit. Like where I was at in Nashville, like niggas was parading out in the street, like when he got elected. And you can say, oh, well, Barack don't fuck with us or whatever it may be now. But when that shit was happening, like people took pride in that.
Absolutely.
And they always looking for even after taking pride in it, I knew you was a fake. I knew you was a fraud. I knew you didn't do it right. Like with Dr. Umar, I knew you wasn't going to build a school. And that's the thing that we hang on most, I feel like, as a society, more so than what are they actually doing?
But there's also, I don't want to forget the accountability element, because yes, like Dr. Umar, nigga, if you're gonna say you're gonna build a school, build a goddamn school. Like don't say shit. I'm just saying, come on, Lou, you missed the businessman. Don't do that. Cause you know, if a nigga say he gonna do something and he don't do it, you're gonna be like, nigga, why did you even say it if you're not gonna do it?
I don't think that people take I don't think that people take into account how difficult it is to do what he's trying to do. He's not doing a very good job of explaining how difficult it is to do what he's trying to do, especially independently. Like when you talk about when you say LeBron has did it, Jalen Rose has did it, they've taken different routes to do what he's trying to do. He's trying to do it on his own, solely independent of any school systems or government systems within that city. And that's a lot harder to do than what LeBron would do is starting a charter school, or Jalen Rose would do is starting a charter school. It's different. He ain't done a good job of explaining that. All he's doing is saying, oh, I only want Black money and I'm only going to use Black people. Like people look at that and they're like, man, come on, bro, you bullshit. You taking our money. But he ain't doing a good job of explaining that versus doing all the other shit.
I disagree, because I feel like that's not the point that I'm even bringing up when I criticize him on that. It's more of that he shit on other people doing other shit that he deems is not as good as what he doing. And it's kind of like, okay, if that's the case, where the fucking school at there, nigga? Like if you got all the answers, or if you missed the nigga who needs to be graded by and seeing how many lashes you giving out, like where's your shit at? To me, it's like you can't talk shit if you ain't doing shit. And not to say he ain't doing shit,
Mm.
but from the shit that he's saying, he
He
ain't
ain't
done
do what
that
he
shit.
say he was gonna do.
He ain't do what he said he was gonna do. So you just sound like everybody else that you talking about and complaining about.
That's big.
That's
big
the
among us as black men though. Like as black men, a lot of the respect factor goes to, like, you said you was gonna do something, you didn't do it, bro.
your word is
Like
your
Scarface, my balls are my word.
No,
Yeah,
Marlo,
that's
my
all you
name is
got.
my name. You know what I'm
My name is
saying?
my
Like,
name.
like
You
if
said you were going to do this and you did not do it. And now I can't even look at you the same. I can't even hold you in the same regard, even if I do fuck with you, because you said you were going to do this thing and you did not do it. Like, that's one of the biggest things for us as black men that we deal with. Like, because you don't know who to trust. You don't know if someone is completely blowing smoke up your ass and being like, everything they say is a lie. Or it may just have just been this one thing that they struggle with and they don't know how to ask for help for it. And I think that's the position that Umar is in. I don't think that he's lying. I don't think that he is not going to build the school. I do think that he's in a position where I don't want to ask other niggas for help because I don't want to seem weak, because I said I could do it this way and I want to do it my certain way. And if other people start to give me money, I have to do it another way. So I'm not going to ask for help. So I'm going to figure out how to do it by myself. But what that does is put you behind schedule when niggas look at you, like you said, Nick, from a business standpoint, which I am a businessman. Niggas started to look at you like you ain't dependable. But all the whole time is he just don't know how to ask for help. He don't know how to get to the things that he needs to get to because he's too scared. He don't want to swallow his pride and do it.
Then that's a personal problem, and he's the wrong person to be in that position,
I
or to even
100%.
comment on other people in
I would
doing
agree
what they
with you
do.
in that.
You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing that I
agree
have issue about black people as a whole, is that we got to come together more than we talk about each other, because it's just like
We're not humble. We feel like we got to do it by ourselves.
not even just that. It's like we always feel like we're in competition with each other, or that we always feel like
Everybody wants to be the star.
Yeah, we always feel like we need to.
I don't think it's a black thing though. I will push back.
Well,
on
I'm only
you on that. I
talking to
don't think
black
it's a
people.
black
I'm
thing.
only talking because
Okay,
other
got you.
communities like the Asian community, Latin community,
They finding a way to flourish.
They work together.
But life is a competition though. Like we could all
it's not.
accept that.
That's what you learn from business class.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Life is not a competition.
Bro, there's only a certain amount of pieces of pies available, and we all fight.
No such thing as a life that's
competition.
better than yours. No such thing as a life. Come on, don't play. Come on.
That's Lou grew up in the capitalism school 101.
Bro.
That
like
nigga
life is a competition, bro.
No, it's not.
As much as y'all try to disregard that life is a competition. Like,
who you competing with?
You can tell, you can lie to yourself and say, I ain't competing with nobody, it's just me. But at the same time, it's somebody that's looking at you. It's somebody that's looking at you and they're competing with you. So by de facto measures, you're competing with them because you still got to maintain what you've been doing in order to keep up what you need to do. No, like there is no what's the word that I'm looking for? There's no sustainable way of life where you feel like I'm not competing with somebody. I don't give a fuck if it's your job, if it's us doing the podcast, if it's whatever you're looking to do, there's always competition out there for you to do it. I don't care if you acknowledge it or not. There's still stuff that you have to do to make sure that you're maintaining a certain level of business to ensure that you are beating the competition, whether you're trying to or not. It's just business 101. We live in a capitalist society.
Life is not business, bro. Life is not business.
I'm not
No, it's not. It's not. It's life is not business. There was not a business deal that came to mind when your mom and dad came together and conceived you. There's not a business transaction, bro. We're not kings and queens.
Some people did have a business.
Okay, yeah, but that's overseas kings and queens and organized marriages, bro. Life is not a business.
It ain't overseas over here. Brittany Renner.
Okay, whatever. Y'all get what I'm saying though. It's like the transaction of it. Life is not. Sure, people will compete against each other in life, but that's not.
What I would say is that's to you specifically, Mo.
That's not the way to look at it, bro.
There are people out there that will listen to you. They will listen to this podcast. They will digest what we're saying, and they will try to do the same thing. And we are then, in fact, their competition. They're going to be competing for the same people to listen to them, to listen to us. And by de facto measures, it's still a competition, even if you're willing to participate or not.
But you're making it a blanket. You're making it a blanket statement.
We live in a capitalistic society. We live in a capitalistic society. Like you have to fight to compete to make money because money is what makes this world thrive.
I'll say this. I agree with a little bit of both of y'all. Because for me, like obviously we should know that life is a social construct. I think that's what Lou's leaning heavily into. But the social construct of like how life is, how you get by, how you survive in this region of the world, in this country, and all that is a capitalistic mindset is the best one to do if you want to if you want to be Mr. Nigga, or if you want to be a rich lavish lifestyle.
If you want to be successful, period. Not you ain't even got to be to get to the fact of Mr. Nigga. But even if you at work and you feel like it's not a competition, the person beside you that works in the same department as you, they may look at it as a competition, and they're going to try to outperform you to get to a place where they feel like that you ain't gonna be at.
And
like
so
that's just the nature of the society that we live in.
But there's the other side of that, and I think what Mo may be speaking on. However, with that being said, most of that shit don't matter at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like when we're talking about,
true.
When we're talking, if
I would concede to that, yeah.
If you're going through health issues, you don't give a fuck about
your mom sick, something wrong with your family.
All that shit goes out the window. You realize what really matters in life and where your purpose probably should lie within, and where your responsibility should go. So to me, it's just like
the other person is trying to get to where you are. They're still going to be competing with you, even if you've conceded. And that in fact make life.
That's fine, but that's it. But it depends on it depends on how you look at life.
Let me add, are you married, Nick?
Hell no. Nah.
do you have any kids?
No, I don't.
Okay, I know, Spike. I know your status.
I do. I do want to be married one day, and I do want to have kids. So
I love that I love that. But even let's just not even do that. The reality of the situation is, I hear what you're saying, Spike. But and I get where you're at. Absolutely. Life is a competition because right now your family is your goal. Like your love of your life is the achievement where I'm trying to get. That's the love. I'm married to the game. That's where you're at.
Okay.
So I know where you're at. That makes perfect sense. Yes, it is a competition. Nigga, I eat, sleep, breathe this. When I get up and leave the job, I'm immediately going to pod. So I know where you're at. But the reality of the situation, bro, is there's so much more where it doesn't make it a competition. Do people compete? Absolutely. Do people want what you got? Absolutely. But while they're doing that, a person like me, and I'm not a minority in this situation, it may be half and half, it may be whatever. We don't know the numbers. But the reality is like some people's like, bro, I'm not competing with you. If you want to say it's a competition with yourself, sure. I'm not competing with the next man because I got so much going on. I'm not even looking over there to see the next man. So to say life is a competition would mean I will have to stop what I'm doing and to recognize I got to compete with this individual over here. And that's just not the full picture. To make it a blanket statement, I don't think that's true.
You don't even have to be you don't even have to be a willing participant in it, bro. That's all I'm saying. Like, I get what you're saying, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying that you don't even have to be a willing participant for the nigga that sees what you have and measures what he has against that, says, I'm going to get that. You can love your family and spend all the weekends working, and I'm leaving at 5 o'clock. He's going to 7, 8, 9 o'clock because he want what you got. And in sense from that, it is a competition. You may not even know that you're competing, but there's always someone, especially if you're doing, like if you're going above and beyond and you're doing what you need to do, if you that nigga, it's somebody who's going to look at that and measure themselves on you, and they are competing with you.
You don't know
even
they're
have to be
competing.
A participant.
You don't know they're competing.
Cool.
I'm not
that's
competing.
That's not my point. That's what I'm saying. But when I say life is a competition, it's more so based on always knowing that there's somebody looking to come do what you do, or wanting the life that you have.
I think you need a different word for instead of life. I think I know where you're going, but I think life is not the word. Something I know where you're going. I think life
maybe lifestyle. I mean, I get what Lou's saying. Like he's
lifestyle,
right. I mean,
maybe lifestyle.
Yeah, lifestyle's
a competition.
Yeah, I get what he's saying. It's just, again, when you get to a certain point, either you lean into that or you don't. It's the social construct of a lot of shit that go on. Like, he's right, Lou's right. Regardless of, like, every job you get, somebody they get that job. That's that's a competitive kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But it depends on like how you ingest that, and I think the pandemic, what I refer to as the panty, but like the panty, like that's when everybody was, thinking about shit, thinking about life, thinking about where they wanted to go. I know I did. So it's just kind of like, when you have your whole world kind of stop, and then you realize the construct in that, because then you realize, damn, I ain't have to work 8 hours today. I could have really just worked 4 hours and I could work from home. You know,
I didn't even have to go to the office. I could have stayed here at the house and did this from the crib.
exactly. But that's because life happened and it changed everything. So I just feel like sometimes we get caught up in the bullshit. The social construct is a part of that, but it's also the reality that we live in.
I agree. I think that was a really good conversation, fellas. Go ahead, my bad.
No, I'm with you. I was gonna say, I think that the theme, I think we move it to the following, or we move it to a later, because I think that the conversation we just had was so complex. I don't want to step on that by going a whole nother for this one. I think Nick stepped in and dropped 30.
I'm just talking shit. Yeah, I always talk shit. So that's all I'm doing.
That's what he do.
Nah, don't downplay it. Don't downplay yourself, bro. Like, call it what it is. No, I'm speaking. Like, I spoke. Like, no, we ain't doing that no more. Like, you spoke, bro. You spoke something.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Lou, you're the leader of the show. What you want to do?
Oh, so you don't want to go into the rest of it. You feel like
I don't know how long it'll be. I got to turn this thing around. You know what I mean? The show. So that's the challenge within what we're doing.
Are you on time constraint? You and Nick? Like, I got a strong.
I tell you, Max, I got a strong 30. I got a strong
30. He said a strong 30.
Because I'm married with a child. I got a pregnant wife. So I got a strong 30. If we can cover in 30.
He got a smooth 15. He got to deal with he got a talking to if he do 30.
You know what I mean? So we gotta, like, if we're gonna do that, it's a strong 30.
I would put it on you, because this was a topic that you brought to the table. You want to talk about. If there's something that you want to get to in these 30 that you got, then I'm open to do it. But if you feel that was good enough as a producer, then we can leave it there.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna leave it there, but I do want to add a little bit to what we already talked about.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna switch the whole, like, show concept or whatever. But Nick, you talked about grace. Spike's talked about grace. I talk about grace as well, being a believer. How do we get to that place where we start to be more graceful with our leaders, and not even our leaders, our day-to-day black men, that we deal with, as far as, okay, they flawed, because it seems like this whole conversation comes down to labels. We just have to label things. And when we label things, we leave no room for complexity. We leave no room for diversity. We leave no room for a full scope of the picture. Versus, like, us black men, we're us three here, we're trying to actually get that. But how do we do that on a mainstream level, on a grand scale? What do you think? How do we get to that place?
You want to start, Lou?
Either one of y'all.
Shit, how do we get to that place? I mean, we're never going to eliminate labels. That's kind of like how, as from a macro standpoint, human beings can, fathom things. Mm-hmm. We can't fathom the sky, but we got to call it the sky. You know what I'm saying? Just to label it. But for me, it's kind of, I mean, it's going to sound some kumbaya shit, but it's like, we got to speak more positivity to each other as black men, to black men. And I think accountability is something that I've been trying to lean more into, which is why what Lou was saying earlier, I've been surrounding myself with more black women, because sometimes niggas will let you niggas will really address you unless you're doing some shit that affects them, or it's just like so egregious. It's like, if I'm really your homeboy, I'm gonna talk to you about it. But black women, bro, as soon as you put that Coca-Cola can off the coaster, you know what I'm saying? You get your ass.
Why you sitting there on my table?
Yeah, they cuss you ass about every little thing, and I like that, because it's like, it makes you think more about your actions.
They have a standard. They standard that they live by, and I don't hold that standard up to it. Yeah,
that's what I'm getting to. Black men, we got to kind of raise our standards a little bit. Not to say that all black men need to do this, because I don't want to speak for all black men. I'm just saying that overall, it's kind of like, from what I'm seeing, from a day-to-day, not really social media, because you're gonna see a lot of bullshit on social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like from a day-to-day, I still can see that from my peers and even from myself, just kind of like, we could be better. You know what I'm saying? There's no point in time in life where I've said that I'm good. I'm good at where I'm at. And I'm, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to be 31. So it's like, I haven't even, I don't even remember most of my life, as a child up until that point. But as an adult, it's like I've always thought about like I could be better. So it's just kind of like if we put that in a way that's kind of more encouraging and also supportive, I would say, because I think instead of criticizing and always looking for the flaw, it's just like, all right, no, yeah, you going through that shit. I went through that shit too, but here's how you get better. You know what I'm saying? I can only give you the tools. You can build whatever the fuck you want to with it. But I think if we kind of push that more of the envelope and be more supportive, we'd be all right or in a better place. But I feel like we always like mercenaries, you know what I'm saying? We always out for ourselves and kind of to ourselves to that point, So I think if we, because me and my homeboys try to do it now, like we speak positively. We like you, Mo, you was trying to do it with me. It was like, nah, nigga, you was saying some real shit. You know what I'm saying? Stand on that. You was saying some real shit. So it's like kind of like speaking that to other people and other black men specifically.
Man, wow. I say you
That was good shit.
Yeah, it was.
That to piggyback off what Nick said, as far as having that communication space where we can let other black men be vulnerable in the sense of I can get that off and I can critique you too. And I ain't critiquing you in the sense of I don't fuck with you or what you said was stupid. It's just you could do better. Or there's a better way to approach what you're saying. I think what Nick said was 100% true, in us speaking more positivity into one another and us allowing each other those spaces to where you be like, man, you know what? I fucked up. Like I ain't even know this, that, and the third was gonna come from this, but I do need some type of forgiveness in the sense of you're my friend, you're my homeboy. Coach me through this if you can. If I'm vulnerable enough to ask you to do so. And I think that goes a long way in the sense of us having that lone wolf mentality in the sense of I gotta figure this shit out by myself, which is the sense of what we do in the show. And we're gonna have the conversations as black men, like you ain't always gotta be right. You ain't gotta be 100% convicted in what you're saying. You're just throwing a thought out there, and somebody can disagree with that, or somebody can't agree with that, and we can continue to hash those thought processes out and build from that. Not just thinking I gotta be in this box where I gotta be this perfect nigga. I think a lot of us, like we were saying in the beginning, Mo, we hold that stuff in because we're scared to be embarrassed, and we want to be that perfect nigga because society tells us that we have to be that, versus us as black men coming together and being like, nah, bro, I got you. Like I've dealt with this before, and here's how I dealt with it. I ain't saying you got to deal with it this way, but here's some introspective of what you're going through. Or if I could offer any opinion or advice, here's what I would say. We don't take that time enough with niggas, as Nick was saying. Like it's very rare that you can have these type of conversations with your homeboys, which is why I appreciate doing this podcast, because people listen to this and they say, I'm glad you guys said this. Now I feel more open to talk to my boy about this, or even responding to you guys about this and what I feel like you were wrong in or what I feel like you were right in. So just being continuously able to have the conversations and be like, I'm not sure about this. I know society as a black man tells me I need to be 100% affirmed in what I'm saying, but I really don't know. What do you guys think? We need to be able to we need to be open to be able to do that more and saying, what do you guys think, versus just being a lone wolf in situations?
Fire. Y'all two really nailed it. I just put my 2 cents in. Just be honest. Like just be honest and respectful. I spoke about it on the last episode. No matter what the occasion is, I'm gonna start as a man that's respected and a respectable man, and I'm gonna leave as a man respected and as a respectable man to whoever I'm dealing with. A lot of us men that are out there, they may not necessarily have that mentality or don't have the bandwidth. I had to get that on my own. Like a lot of us didn't have fathers that like necessarily plug that into us in that way. So we had to figure it out on our own, and they didn't necessarily got that info. So I would say to just be honest. Like let's stop putting the show on, stop trying to think that you're the star. It ain't all that. Y'all know how I feel. Like all that extra, stop putting the extra sauce on it. Like just be real. That's why it always works. You want to make change in our community. You want to be effective on a macro level, like he said, like Nick said, then just be honest. Like, be honest, even if it make you look bad. I know that Spike and Rick just spoke about it. It's like, bro, you just be keeping it straight up, even with the stuff that could like low key be embarrassing. It's like, for what? Because you never know. You underestimate the power of how you can affect somebody by just being honest, even if it makes you look bad in that light. We've had a great conversation about Dr. King, Umar, Obama, and just the man versus the art. We do need grace. I used to be a very judgmental person, and I've learned not to get away from that because I started living more, started seeing some flaws about myself that made me say, yo, how can I talk to them about that? Look at me. And I always will lead with that when I find myself getting in that judgmental bag. I say, whoa, wait. I know you ain't talking. And I talk to myself because I need to hear myself say this. I say, oh. This the same nigga years ago. Like, I ain't gonna share all that right now, but I got things where I'm like, oh, whoa. So be honest, man, and have grace for it. Like, we don't throw all of us away because you see a mistake, man. Like, we all trying to figure it out, bro. We just need love, more love. And that's it, man. That's it. Nick, what you got going on, man? I heard you made a big move here, man. What's up?
Oh yeah, they saying I'm in Siberia, but I'm in Connecticut. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I left Atlanta for Connecticut for professional reasons, but I'm low key fucking with it out here. And I say Siberia because niggas don't know where Connecticut is.
They really don't know.
You couldn't point to Connecticut. It's crazy though.
It's an hour away from New York. Niggas need to know that.
Is that the city? Is that a city or a state? That's why I'm like,
it's a state. It's a state.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot of money out here. I'll say that. It's that 13 colonies original white man money. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So yeah, I'm in between Massachusetts and New York, so it's kind of like you can kind of get the sense of what I'm talking about. But it's cold as shit up here right now. Obviously, I wish I was in Atlanta for the weather purposes, but no, I just came out here just to do some growth. But I still do a lot of work with DeadEnd Hip Hop, DeadEnd in general. That network, Lou has probably plugged in some things that he's done. I was overseeing or hosting the Frames Per Second podcast. Y'all can check that out on all the streaming platforms. Frames Per Second podcast. We do movies, TV shows, and discussions about films and all that other stuff. And then I just did some stuff for DeadEnd Hip Hop as far as like just short album reviews. I think they're doing like a 365 series. So we talked about Gunna's project. We kind of covered like all the winter project stuff that kind of came out towards the late of 2023. Like Gunna's project, Big Crit project. What else we talk about? Boss's project. So check that out. And then yeah, whenever Lou invites me back on, I'll come through.
What's your Instagram?
That's another
Nick
story.
Don't do social media.
Yeah, I don't do social media. Yeah, I don't do social media.
Since his incident, he don't do social media.
Yeah.
Hey, I like it. I like that type of energy, bro.
I wish I did it earlier because I only did it because of the podcast stuff. But I'm usually not trying to be. I'm a private nigga for the most part. But I can't even say that no more after the incident.
Yeah.
But
that's what
I will say,
talk about next time. You've been trying to avoid this shit. You want to talk about that next time?
No, Nick, we're gonna have you back, bro. I know that this kind of was like a free flowing, but a deep conversation. But like, if you're open to it, bro, be on the lookout. If you got an availability.
No, I'll come through. I could talk about whatever. I gotta figure out how I want to talk about that. But
well, it ain't gotta be that.
You ain't discussed it. You ain't discussed.
I don't think I never discussed it in full.
We never had a conversation about police because
because
I know Spike had some run-ins. I've had run-ins. So that is a conversation we've never had. Black men and authority and those things. If you're comfortable, you ain't got to do it. Like
I could speak on it and be respectful about it because it didn't just involve me, but the story is really it's a story. It's a story.
I got
it. Ain't it don't fit Nick personality. That's why
I know. I feel
it does, but it doesn't. At the same time, it does.
It ain't really a Nick thing. Yeah.
Can I have one question real quick before Spike? You tell us what you got going on, Nick. What happened to your podcast, man? You had a podcast a grip ago, man. I used to listen to you on the low.
Oh, no disrespect.
Yeah.
It was just it kind of ran its course, I would say, because I was hosting that, and the homies that I was with, I mean, those are my brothers. but like it kind of ran its course. Like I think towards the end, and I ended it horribly, but it kind of, you know how most black sitcoms just like they either get
drop
canceled
off,
or
like they
just
got
drop
canceled.
off.
They got it.
Yeah, basically
like
that's
Power.
how it.
I mean,
yeah.
like
the
what's the
Wayans
show with
brothers or something like that.
Taraji them,
Empire, yeah.
Empire, they ended terrible.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that, but no, I just feel like we ran our course. Like we said a lot of shit. Like Lou was on a few episodes. Like we said a lot of shit. It was like unfiltered black men, which I don't know if people want to hear that anymore, but I think
Bro, I got stuff in the tuck, so I know exactly. I got homeboys. I did a podcast before, and it's in the tuck.
Yeah, exactly. But we kind of did, we did something with the Patreon up for Is the Mic Still On? If you subscribe to that, you'll hear I think we called it With All Due Disrespect.
Yeah, Ken and Nick got an episode that's similar to what he used to do.
Yeah, so
yeah,
like
I gotta give me the link, man. You know, come on, man. Like,
yeah, I'm trying to be more mature
Nick,
now that I used to be.
Give it to him.
Yeah, but I'll send it to you. But I'm trying to be more righteous than ratchet with my delivery.
That man working Yale now. He can't be like, you know
I hear that,
saying?
brother.
He can't be just out
ain't
here
no
like
wrong with
that,
growth.
man.
Black excellence.
Can't just be out here like that, bro.
Black excellence, bro. Ain't no wrong with a little growth.
Yeah, I'm just trying to I'm trying to be Mr. Nigga. That's my main thing. Mr. Nigga, though, you know, he do certain things, he move a certain way.
Yeah, superhero.
That's why I got that term from Mr. Nigga. I got that from Nick.
Really?
That's what I want to be.
Well, I've been saying that for years.
That's what I want to be.
Me and my homeboys been saying that for years.
Yeah, everybody know who Mr.
Nigga is.
Be,
bro.
Yeah, everybody know who Mr. Nigga is.
Spike Lou, what you got going on, bro? Before we get out of here.
Same old things, man. On Deck TV podcast every Wednesday. Full Sport Press every Tuesday. Good Earners every Monday. And another weekend of books on Fridays. Man, y'all make sure y'all tapping into everything that we do. It's going to continue to grow and build, and we appreciate the feedback that you guys give to us. It drives the shows. Mm-hmm. So make sure that you guys continue to comment, like, rate, subscribe, and tell somebody you know about the podcast.
Yes, sir. All those things that he said, and I got something special coming for y'all. I mean, like I said, I'm working on the audio book of Roll, which is technically season 4, but I got some special things I'm going to throw on the feed for free. I'm bringing in some other special guests to play some voice actors. So y'all, please tune in.
I ain't get no invite. That's crazy.
Well, I don't know if you could play the role I would need you for. I hit you up off air. I don't know if you could do it. Man, well, because it's not your character. You're so far from this character. If you can do it, I got you, but I don't know. But I got some special something coming up on that Roll feed, man. So for those that listen to Roll that happen to just come over here because they just wanted to support, y'all be on the lookout. I'm coming with something real serious that's going to tie right into the audiobook. So y'all stay tuned for that, man. If y'all want to hit us up,
appreciate you, brother.
We appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all. I gotta make sure get Mo safely out of here before his wife come in with a frying pan and smack him upside his head. You talking to all them niggas, but you ain't with still on that goddamn computer.
All right, man. Well, look, like he said, let me get safely out of here. awitb2022@gmail.com. 470-318-5034 if y'all want to hit us up, man. Another week in the books on Instagram, no spaces. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in, man.
Yeah.